Elon Musk, the world's richest man, bet big on the election and he won bigly. And now he's going to win even bigger as Starlink is getting ready to get approvals from the government that may not have ever happened under a Harris administration. But what does it mean for entertainment? Well, we're here to tell you it means everything, and we mean everything. A complete revolution in the way that you receive media, entertainment, and the internet is coming very, very soon. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the place that helps you find the sensible center, the mainstream middle where money can be made and where the Holly Weirds should have been the entire time. Our job is to explain entertainment, keep you ahead of the culture curve, and today we're doing just that by explaining what is on the horizon, and we mean that literally and metaphorically because Elon Musk is putting satellites in the horizon so that it can beam the internet down into your eyes, into your ears, on your little devices, of course. We're not talking about Neuralink yet, but a transformation of the media is happening, and we've got an explanation here for what's about to occur you might not hear anywhere else. It turns out that, the gamble, the gambit, the risk that Elon Musk decided to take has paid off in spades. Take a look at this. Lyndon Baines Johnson, who I don't think is the actual Johnson, on November 3rd on X was saying, if Harris wins, fairly high on the agenda should be finding new federal contractors so that SpaceX and Starlink are shown the door. In other words, make sure that your political enemies, those who disagree with you in a free and fair election, make sure that they are not able to make money or push technology forward, even if it damages the overall country. So, for example, SpaceX and Starlink were phenomenal in bringing communications and connectivity to North Carolina after it was devastated. Make sure that can't happen again if Harris wins. Well, Harris did not win, and here's what David Sachs had to say. But this was prior to understanding what was going to happen. David Sachs said, if it wasn't for SpaceX, the USA would still have 2 astronauts stranded on the space station left to die. If it wasn't for Starlink, flood victims would have been left without communication. Democrats want to cancel them anyway as political retaliation. They are vindictive. But folks, we're not going to stay in politics on this because I just want to show you. This from Vincent C.H. It says, here's how Starlink is transforming Nairobi. Entire apartment blocks powered by high-speed internet, freeing residents from limited, slow local providers. Only 2 kits per complex needed, efficient, scalable, and changing lives. Let's scale this with your support, Elon Musk. Your support to expand will be invaluable, and it has the proposal there. We're not sponsoring that, recommending it. We're just bringing this to your attention, folks, because after the election, it now seems to me inevitable that, Elon Musk is likely to get many of the things he wants approved by the government. And as a result, we now believe that companies like Starlink will have access to frequencies and bandwidths that were not allowed previously. And honestly, I believe in the next 2 years, the internet and the access to the internet is going to be completely revolutionized. I mean this, folks, and that's why you come to this channel, is because we want to keep you ahead of the culture curve. I'm here to tell you, I think within the next 2 years, a very large number of people, to the point that we may have quasi-monopoly issues we have to deal with, a huge number of people are going to be connecting with Starlink now. Because what a lot of folks don't know is that under the Biden administration, Elon Musk was not being granted access to frequencies that are really, really important to Starlink working, especially if you need to get the transmission through walls.
Yes, penetration.
So what this is going to do is everybody in the country is going to be able to get cheap internet at ultra high speeds. Everybody. No matter where you are, even if you lose power, if you have a generator or solar panels, you're going to get internet. This is a huge thing. This will also, by the way, revolutionize rural areas all over the country to now be able to disseminate content. So you could see major content creators coming out of rural areas of South Dakota, Idaho, etc., in places that's still not really widely available. People don't understand that there are places in the country that still don't have great access to broadband. Well, nobody's going to have broadband in a few months or years because Elon Musk is going to take over the industry. Panel, your thoughts?
I was just going to add something. Please. From the hurricanes that came through here, through Florida. One of the things that Ron DeSantis brought up is how he found out about Starlink and actually, asked Elon to have a couple of those, especially for those rural areas that were, power lines down, cell towers down. And because of Starlink, they were actually able to stay in communication. So those things are going to be revolutionizing access for those, for those rural areas. So I've just seen like just how impressed people are about, how cheap it is and improving access to those other areas. And we have a lot, contrary to popular opinion, we have a ton of rural areas here in the state of Florida.
So let's double up on that, Lorena, and say this too. Not only did Elon take this huge risk by backing Trump on the election when it comes to Starlink, but even more importantly, with X/Twitter. Had Harris won, it's very likely that Twitter would have been legislated to death, or would have been taken over by the U.S. government, or would have been investigated and regulated to the point that it could no longer function. Like there would have been an effort to get rid of it the same way that Parler was taken down. It would have been harder, but they would have parlered X. Now, oh my gosh, you're talking about the opportunity to have Starlink all over the country. The U.S. government could even, because the U.S. government has been trying to get broadband out to rural areas, and the U.S. government has been so terrible in the last 4 years at doing that it's ridiculous. They could instead now just say, here, everybody in these areas, here's Starlink for you. We did a contract with Elon. And now you're not only going to have that, but Twitter/X is the largest news platform on the planet. Everyone thought that Elon Musk was insane for buying X. They thought that he overpaid. He said he overpaid. He now has the largest news organization in the world. And if he does what YouTube does, and we love YouTube, but if he does what YouTube is doing and he makes it easy to search videos on X, look out. The gamble paid off. Vash, am I missing anything on this?
No, I mean, and Twitter was severely overvalued. I believe Elon has actually said that. And
not anymore.
And remember too, Bob Iger kicked the tires on Twitter for a little while there, right? There was some speculation that Disney might actually acquire Twitter, and Bob Iger, he either knew about the bot problem that they had, or maybe what he said.
Go fund yourself, Bob.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe what he said was true, where it was like, well, we don't want to necessarily enter Disney into that conversation, so to speak.
Yeah.
So it was a real gamble for Elon to actually do this, and I do agree with you. I think it really did pay off because, boy, oh boy, the ability to communicate freer than a pre-Elon, I really did change the game in terms of the information that was out there and the conversation that could actually take place.
I think this is one of the biggest stories of the century, is that Elon Musk came in, bought a struggling social media platform, freed it, used it as the rebellion against the overseers of the day, and in 48 hours of the election, Elon Musk went from being someone that they thought they could turn into a pariah. He is the king of media. He is going to dominate the internet providing atmosphere, the industry of ISPs. He's going to dominate it. And he's also going to dominate the content side of the internet. That is incredible. That is unbelievable that one person made that kind of a gamble. And I mean, it's like shooting the moon in cards. It's amazing that he was able to do this. But from a man who shoots the moon with rockets, well, maybe it's not so surprising. But man, do not bet against Elon, not for a second. Jonas, any thoughts?
I tried to get Starlink early on when it was first premiering. I was on the beta access list, or whatever you want to call the pilot program that they were doing, even when it was very early on, because I was considering being fully mobile there for a little bit. And the things that I've heard from people who use it, rave reviews, I think they've worked out some of the kinks that they had in the past. This is the kind of thing that even, and I don't think he'll have a monopoly on this, by the way. I think this opens the door for other providers as well, and no one person needs to have the monopoly on a specific kind of internet access. Not that I really like Amazon that much, but that this would also open it up to them. They do have projects that are not that far off from Elon's I guess this is through SpaceX. So I think this is good for everybody to have the option of internet everywhere. There are other more Orwellian aspects that I'm not necessarily crazy about, but you know, I'd rather those be in private hands rather than government hands, and then the government can monitor how the corporation is handling that, as opposed to the government being the only one accountable for all that information. It would terrify me if it was the government itself instead of a private corporation.
What do you think about, Jonas, what do you think about the idea that Musk gambled massively, and now he is the biggest guy in media? He runs both sides of it now. He has the biggest news organization, the biggest news platform, and he fired 80% of the employees and still became the biggest news platform in the world.
And he didn't do it through focusing only on that as well. So that's even more embarrassing to the legacy media. This was a side project among side projects.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. He's becoming the Rockefeller of our age. It's just absolutely amazing.
That's a really apt description. There's a great book called Titan on Rockefeller and all the things that he was able to do, again, as a side hustle.
And it forces others.
A little addendum from the rabbit hole. What's notable about the Trump victory is that it happened despite biased legacy media coverage. New media. That's us. That's you, folks. That's what you're doing right now. New media. And as we said, closing in on 1 million views in 48 hours here on this channel. New media like X and podcasts helped circumvent the narrative gatekeepers so people could hear the other side. I'm not sure if this outcome would have been possible otherwise. All of this effort to manipulate and to make sure that they had the outcome they wanted did not work once new media stepped in. I'm not here to tell you that I'm carrying water for Trump or anything like that. I'm just here to say that we call balls and strikes, and they don't. They carry the corporate narrative no matter what, and we definitely do not. If you watch this channel, you know we don't do that. Elon Musk has broken through. This wasn't just puncturing. This wasn't just a moment in time where the good guys won. This is a case of the paradigm completely shifting. We had a super chat earlier where someone was saying something about changing the Constitution and amendments and all that. I'm just going to tell you this. Because Trump has more power now based on what happened than just about any president we've seen in a very, very long time. If they institute a national ID rule for voting, I mean, the game changes completely. And then one side's going to have to shift their positions. And so you can say to yourself, you know, there's a strong likelihood now that Republicans hold on to control for a while. And if that's the case, there's no need for them to start changing amendments, because if J.D. Vance is your next president, you think he's going to kick Trump out and say, oh, don't come back anymore? No, Trump will be right around there hanging around as much as he wants to as he gets into his 80s. So this is the legacy of the legacy media. And this is the new era that Elon Musk has made. Elon Musk, based on this huge gamble he took, owns now, I think, over the next 2-3 years, he owns space exploration, he owns internet providers, and he owns the media. He's the king of entertainment and maybe the king of news. Panel, final thoughts.
It's just amazing. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. It's just amazing how people get their information from other sources. They are more likely to go to a podcast or even go to somewhere like on TikTok and get information before they would go to the legacy media. So it is amazing. This is a seismic shift with what's going on.
Couldn't agree more. Vash?
It's really interesting to see, because I think it also it forces other companies, corporations who want to be in this space, whether it be I don't know, space exploration, but even Starlink and other industries that Elon is just kind of blazed the trail here. It makes them, it forces them to really improve their services, like ISPs, for example. It's like, okay, maybe we can beat him with speed kind of thing, and not just accessibility. That's going to be interesting to watch. Also, too, there might be retaliation at some point, seemingly like a breakup of his industries. We'll have to watch that story pretty closely, but because I fear about that.
The winning horse, Bash. So that fear is at least for 4 more years, not
for 4 more years. Yeah,
not
right. And that's like it was a gamble, and it paid off big time.
That's right,
big time.
Folks, it's time to bid you adieu, but we hope that you will help us anew, and that is, we're only asking you click that like button. Share, subscribe, click it, stick it to those algorithms. It is the notification bell, and drop a comment down below. And oh, by the way, have you gone the way of thatparkplace.com? www.thatparkplace.com. It's the website that if you're not yet bookmarked to, well, you should be. A bastion of truth and knowledge when it comes to entertainment and everything that's going on. Go check it out today, folks. We would love to have you over there as well. All right, we are getting ready to head out, but do not fret, for we will put out 4 more videos tomorrow, so long as the good Lord allows. And we believe that probably, just might, happen. All right, until the next time we get to share time with you, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.